Hello everyone, and welcome once again to another video for the channel. On this occasion I bring you largely completed Dungeons Delight, the most disgusting and terrifying food mod of all Minecraft. But before starting, as always, I remind you that you can leave your like and subscribe, since by doing so, automatically in the next world you make, you will find a pink sheep naturally. And if you don't believe me, what are you waiting for? Don't try, subscribe now. So, without anything else to say, let's start with the video. This mod is called Dungeons Delight, which many will already imagine. This is another of the many compliments that the famous Farmer's Delight will have. However, we are facing one of the few cases that really brings something totally new to the table, unlike others who will only add new food recipes. So join me to meet all the secrets about this amazing mod. Well, let's start from the most basic. In this case, as always, we will have new decorative blocks, like poisonous potato drawers and rotten tomatoes, which can now be used in new types of recipes. And yes, I know it sounds a little disgusting, but believe me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And from now on, in swamp biomes we can find a new type of structure underground, the rotten dungeon. Similar to a dungeon, normal but covered in dirt and rotten bolt. A new type of plant, which will be an ingredient key to the elaboration of many of the crafts. Important features of this mod: when you break it, will leave you with seeds, which, similar to mushrooms, they can only grow in darkness, although clear. You better be careful when harvesting them, because when you break it, the monster yam will be generated. A not very powerful enemy, but what if I were to touch you? It will give you the effect of a putrid aroma, making all enemies undead. Close ones prioritize attacking you, in addition to generating rotten zombies around you. A variant capable of moving much faster. When we defeat him, he will leave us with the rotten bulb of filth, just like its seeds. Ingredients for creating new recipes, and the new wormroot wood. Material for the creation of new decorative blocks. Before we leave this strange dungeon, don't forget to break the generator. And these are, now, they will leave us the scrap fragment, one of the rarest objects and specials of the entire mod that will allow us create most new tools, even like a touch, decorative along with the blacksmith molds. However, we are just beginning. Well, we haven't talked about the most important thing yet: the new foods and recipes of the mod. Something we will talk about later. As a next step, we will have the topic of tools and tables. Resources essential for the creation of new recipes. First, we will have a new set of cutting tools, the butcher knife with all its respective variants, including a new one made with scrap metal fragments, and curiously, we can also make the Farmer's Delight knife with this same material. And while they won't be as good as their version of netherite, will have the heat load effect. New skill, passive, that will activate after hitting 64 times. Some objective. Once reached, we will have this limit for a few seconds. A 30% speed increase, and another 10% attack speed. Plus an additional skill: burn and remove experience for each hit we give with this weapon. Although this ability will disappear later, having attack 60 for other times. As a curious fact, butcher knives, they will be able to launch themselves, so that long-range attacks, and even pierce and damage creatures that are behind. For each enemy crossed, this will lose 20% of its damage. Continuing, we will have the dungeon stove will be practically the same as a stove, Farmer's Delight Classic. Only this one will have some additional details. First, and most curious, will it be that when we get on it, we burn ourselves. Not only will we be receiving damage, but also our experience will be consumed. And unlike the classic stove, it will be so powerful that it will be able to heat the Monstrous pot, where we will do some of the most complex recipes in this mod. And well, since we're done with the topic of the new ones, tools, now let's move on to the new foods. and effects of this mod. To start with, and something quite obvious, is that all these new foods will have a monstrous theme, being created not with common ingredients, such as vegetables or cattle meat. Since the main ingredients, they will be meat and monster parts. To obtain it, I recommend you use the knife or the new butcher knife to have a better chance of getting set. Ingredients: the spiders will leave us their meat. The gas will leave their tentacles. The zombie will leave us its guts, while its dessert variant will leave us the sandy meat. The drowned zombie will leave our flesh wet. The silverfish will leave us its abdomen. The slimes will leave us their noodles. The sniffer will leave his meat. And the warden will leave us the sculk polyps. Although there are still things we can do with others, creatures or ingredients, which are not entirely intuitive, such as the silverfish and vex palette. For this we will have to create a amethyst rock candy, to then hit one of these, and get caught in it. Another mysterious object will be the ancient egg, having one of the processes of more complex maturation. For this you must first create the egg block, embedded later. Leave it near a source of monstrous heat. If we want to speed up the process even more, we must put it near another object that contains skulk all this, being empowered, even more so if you find yourself under the moonlight. And once the process is finished, there will be more eggs, lasted to the point of turning blue, where now it will only be a matter of breaking the block in order to be able to get the ancient egg. And well, as you can see, we will have a lot of new recipes. Sadly, since there are too many, I can't show them all. And as you may have noticed, some will have effects never seen before. Well then, these effects will be nothing more than the monstrous version of the effects. Minecraft Vanilla, let me explain. Let's imagine that we have the force effect on. If for some reason we ate some food with his version, monster or the force effect will be replaced, because otherwise we will not be able to have at the same time a normal effect with its monstrous version. We will be able to understand it much better with the secret recipe of this mod, the monster burger, which will be done in the following way. And as a curious fact, its design will be a reference to SpongeBob's filthy Krabby Patty. If we eat it, we'll transform all the vanilla effects we have in its monstrous version, yes. Not all potion effects will have this transformation, at least not for now, so I'll show them to you below. Burrow Gut will be the evolution of Mining Rush, regenerating our hunger when breaking blocks. By doing so, we will also have a chance to have the Ravenous Fever effect, increasing our speed by 30% and 10% attack speed. The evolution of the force effect will be decisive, giving us the probability to make critical hits that are equivalent 1.75 more damage without having to jump. Exudate will be the evolution of absorption, making extra hearts receive more damage, but in return you will create a small area explosion. The swing will be the monstrous evolution of high jumping, will allow us to climb blocks as if we were a spider. Tenacity will be the monstrous evolution of comfort, making your natural regeneration now. The greater the hungrier you are. And finally, we will have the Voracity effect, giving you the ability to eat creatures. Making every hit you land on a creature will be filling your food bar. As you can see, it is not about another Farmer's Delight add-in plus, but could easily being one of the best. Well, more than just adding new food designs, we'll be bringing a new world with mechanics interesting as monstrous evolution of some potion effects, the implementation of a new knife, and even new ways of cooking, which more than complements the original mod. I would say it expands it to new horizons. But now tell me, what did you think of this mod? Which of the new monster effects was your favorite? Or the one that caught your attention the most? Do you think this is one of the best, Farmer's Delight add-ins included? What other type of mod would you like to see in an upcoming video? I'll be reading you in the comments. And well guys, I hope you liked it, that you had fun. That's the most important thing for me. If you liked the video, I would ask you to please leave you like and comment. What did you think of this video? What other types of videos would you like to see on the channel? And also subscribe. That is very important. Remember never to try to milk a warden.
¡Ay! Pensé que era hembra.
And see you in the next video. Bye.